Welcome to Course in Miracles. We are in Chapter 16, Section 6, and we're working on paragraph 9. So that's page 346 in the second edition. And Michaeline, would you begin?
Oh. Nothing you seek to strengthen in the special relationship is really part of you, and you cannot keep part of the thought system that taught you it was real and understand the thought that knows what you are. You have allowed the thought of your reality to enter your mind, and because you invited it, it will abide with you. Your love for it will not allow you to betray yourself, and you could not enter into a relationship where it could not go with you, for you would not want to be apart from it.
Okay, so the title of the section is called The Bridge to the Real World. And what we're talking about here in this paragraph, see, sentence 1, it says, nothing you seek to strengthen in the special relationship is really part of you.
Wow.
So this is really
trying to improve the special relationship.
Forget it.
It's not possible.
that there's that with the special
Nothing an illusion.
yes,
Yeah.
and so you're making nothing,
That's what I'm trying to do.
making nothing even stronger,
Yep. That makes sense.
which is still
nothing.
nothing.
Still nothing.
Yeah,
I was trying to make sense.
it's a really focused on nothing.
You know, it really makes sense now. I was reacting to nothing. I was trying to make sense out of nothing.
And we had conditions on this nothing that the nothing could never meet. Because it's nothing. When you put your thoughts and you dream, it seems like you're making something. You can put demands on your dreams. In this case, that's what we're doing with the special relationship. We're actually cooking up a whole role for somebody to play. And the Course says it's even worse than that.
Well, what if you don't know you're doing it?
Well,
The awareness is more.
time for you to get busted. You've come to the right meeting. We will
That's a good
expose
answer.
you,
That's the
Michaeline.
right answer.
These pages will expose you for the fraud you are. Congratulations.
That was a great answer, Andrew. That was great.
See, because it's not just that it's so easy to understand that you project on your special relationship partner. That you project what they should be, and you've got an idea in your mind, and when they misbehave, then you're hurt. We talked about that a lot.
But you know what I noticed in that
Yeah.
too? That thought opens up that emotion that puts it in a spin.
Well,
What is that?
well, yes, that's because the nothing must disappoint.
Okay.
Because it's nothing. It's only something when you dream about it, when you think about it. When you decide what's supposed to happen, now it seems to have some value. And then it goes into a spin.
Well, that's why I said it moves from here to here to
Lower.
there.
You always
No,
say
that's
getting
right.
there.
No, you got the order right. You got the order right, Mario.
Okay, thanks.
Because most people would go this. They would touch their heart first. They say it goes from here to here. But where we're operating in the special relationship within the illusion of love, which is the kind of the first half of the book, where you're operating is, you're really operating from your mind, and your body will respond whatever your mind decides. If it's a good relationship, you say, God, I am in love. I mean, I'm so happy, and I think about her, and she thinks about me, and I wake up all smiley, and
But it doesn't last.
right. But that's because, so the Course is describing. It says, don't fall for this slippery slope, because what we've been reading the last couple of months, and that is you were basically conditional love. We've got it all set up. As long as I'm with this one, and she does this, it's all good. That one I'm no longer with, because
I'm a male.
I'm not pointing at you. Although it's possible, insert your... Yeah. Yeah. Now, so it's easy enough to understand that what you think you see, right? You kind of project out. That's what perception is. We're Course in Miracles students, we know that perception is reversed. The world says that you're perceiving something out there. The Course says, not you believe what you see, but
You see what you believe.
you see what you believe.
Or you think.
And what you think is going to inform what you see.
And what you want.
Yes.
And your fantasies.
There's the
And
judgment.
your illusions.
There's the dream. And it's all flowing out. Course calls that projection. Projection. It means it's out there. It comes from here, but it goes out there.
But we're not aware of it.
We're not aware of it. Exactly. That's what we're trying to bust here by talking about it and opening up like we are tonight. Want to catch yourself.
As soon as you catch it and see it, it doesn't have the power anymore.
It sure doesn't. Especially because you can interrupt any cycle like this that you don't like. You guys follow that? That makes sense?
Yeah, but it's not good if you like it either.
Yes. Right. It's also still an illusion.
Why?
Yes. Comfy, cozy illusion. That's play. Knock yourself out. But so is drinking alcohol. It will eventually knock yourself out. And it's play and it's all fun until it isn't. Mm-hmm. And then at some point you decide, this hurts more than it heals. Because face it, the drugs, they do have a healing effect. They numb your mind, the problems go away for 2 hours, then you wake up with broken glasses, who knows what else on the floor that you didn't intend to put there, etc.
How do you interrupt?
Plus
Yes.
you wake up with
How do you interrupt?
Yes. So you interrupt by simply seeing it and making a choice. The interruption, if you can't do it, this is what course is probably you hear because you can't. You appeal to what we call the Holy Spirit, and you go quiet for a moment, right in the middle, before you grab the bottle, before you grab the scream at your loved one. That's the time to evoke the interruption. And you have to go quiet for a moment. And it takes courage. It takes patience.
I have to get away from the situation for me to go quiet, have my own little room to go into.
You have to get out of the cycle.
I have to get away from that. Yeah.
Yes, it might be helpful to physically leave. You could physically leave.
Don't say a word when you're feeling that anxious, that fear, that anxious. Don't say a word. Go away. Go into a room where it's just you. It has to be a bathroom or a closet, whatever it is. And breathe. And breathe. To be aware of, okay, right now I'm feeling fearful, or right now I'm feeling anger. Name it, call it, so you're aware.
I ask for a new vision. I ask for a vision. And then I just don't. I empty out.
Remember what Olchi said last week? She goes into a closet.
Yeah, she does.
She's got a little closet. She just tucks herself in, closes the door behind her. And she breathes for a moment.
And I just ask Holy Spirit, help me to see this.
And then she has a little closet miracle. And she says, how is this going to be good?
That sounds better than
Remember that? Because going into the closet, she's like, this sucks so bad, I think I'm going to have to break up. Or I'm going to scream. Or I got to leave. Or somebody's going to have to move out. Whatever it is, right? She goes in quite negative. But she stands there for a moment, catches a few breaths, and all she does is says, how is this going to be good? And she feels her spirits lift. It's a crazy thing to say the first time. But by the time she hears herself say it, she says, oh yeah, I could choose peace instead of this. Maybe I could make this good instead. She doesn't even know what she's going to say. She doesn't know how. But you see, she's actually invoking a miracle.
She's willing to change.
What's she doing? What is she doing in the closet? Anybody? In Course in Miracles terms?
Changing her mind.
Hiding out.
What?
Changing her mind.
She's changing her mind. She's having a shift in perception. Now get this.
She's not listening to her ego.
She's shifting the perception from problem to freedom.
Yeah.
See, because freedom is always good. She just feels good. Well, how's this going to feel good? She has no idea. But she's already shifted her mind now. She's open. She's expecting. And when she comes out of the closet, she's no longer got the wrinkled nose, the bloodshot eyes. Now, you know what that dance looks like? Because then the finger comes out. It looks like this. And the other side has to do the same thing. And you go around and around. It's very ugly. She breaks the cycle with a miracle. And hopefully, with these classes, she's adding then, allowing her mind to forgive. Now, forgiveness says, this conflict, this harm that I was perceiving, did not hurt me. What I thought I perceived did not happen in reality. Now things happen only when you think they happen here. Nothing happens to you here whatsoever. But Andrew, what about this broken arm? Dick, what's lesson 199?
Yes, that is, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me,
So-
broken arm or not.
Oh, spirit.
Thank you. So when we talk in this room about you, the one that has the broken arm is lowercase u. The one you see in the mirror is the dream. It's a very limited self. It had a beginning. It will have an end. Now let's go spiritual for a moment. The you that is corrected, the you that will have an awakening, the you will have a rebirth or an understanding. This is a rejoining your spiritual self, your true self. The self that has more reality than your body ever could.
So why are we always looking for it in the mirror?
Well, because you're addicted to form.
It's the ego.
Because you're absolutely addicted to form.
Attached.
You say, if I can see it, it's real.
Our senses is what we're trusting.
Yeah. Look at this miracle principle.
I can't think of it.
Way in the beginning. Go page, probably page 4.
Where are we going?
We're going to the miracle principle for a moment. We're going to talk about Mario's addiction for a moment. We all have it. It's not just
I
you.
was only joking about that. I was just trying to...
No, he's teasing you.
Yeah,
Because
I
we
know.
all have the same. We're all ego. We all see going on in this meeting.
So why are we always trying to find our match?
You don't look for yourself in the mirror? Okay, so Mario, read for us Miracle Principle 22 on page 4.
On
Page 4.
I got it here.
Why are we looking in the mirror?
page 4.
What number 22?
The 22. Mm-hmm.
Miracles are associated with fear only because of the belief that darkness can hide. You believe that what your physical eyes cannot see does not exist. This leads to a denial of spiritual sight.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect.
That was the exact
Wow.
answer to why when you look in the mirror. That was a perfect answer.
Yeah. See,
We only believe what our spiritual, what our physical eye can see.
yeah. So this is what the ego's comfort comes from: making the body better, doing things in the world that make you more comfortable, trying to get more, buy a good stock that goes up and pays a dividend. Now I'm happy. Right? So with Course in Miracles is saying, watch out for that drug. It's very attractive, it's very addictive, and it's built on nothing, and it will disappoint. But only every time.
Only every time.
So the spiritual sense, you can't really see it in the mirror.
Yeah, that's correct. If you look in the mirror under the spiritual perspective, what do you see?
I just had a flash on something. I'm sorry.
Well, let me finish that. When you look in the mirror from a spiritual perspective, you see a substitute for yourself in the mirror. And as your eyes tell you that's you, you've completed the illusion, the drinking, the drunkenness of being in a body. There I am in the mirror, blocking your true self.
It's denying your spiritual.
Correct.
Because you're looking through your peepers, which are your physical eyes, rather
Right.
than
Right.
eye of vision, which is
I've
your
had the
spirit.
experience of disappearing when I've looked in the mirror when I was young, a couple of times.
Yeah.
I wasn't in drugs or anything like that,
Yep.
but I was in a seeking kind of mode, and I was like questioning and just kind of being hypnotized, and I kind of disappeared in the mirror. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I just flashed on when you were saying.
Yes.
Interesting.
There are no limits.
So seeing yourself with your eyes closed, looking at the mirror.
Yeah, you could do that. Yep, you could do that. Then you can look for your spiritual self. As long as you're not using your eyeballs.
You said,
Close your eyes or go still, and now you allow the Holy Spirit to speak to
so
you.
you hear the quietness of your spirit.
Mm-hmm. So Holy Spirit can show you an image or can show you a lack of an image. Maybe what Michaeline experienced. It says, hey, here you are. Now, that's kind of simple, right? We talked about that a lot over the years. How what you think shows up out there, right? We have done this a lot. What this paragraph is including, and of Course in Miracles includes, is even a deeper level of illusion. And that is that what you see out there, that nothing that's out there, you have decided it's informing you of what you are.
Yep.
What she said about me, ooh, that really hurt. She knows me really well.
So you're defining yourself by your outside. Or somebody else's projection. Somebody else's projection.
Oh, no, hold on, no. Say it again. You're defining yourself by your outside. And who did we just say made the outside? You did. That's correct.
Oh, interesting.
You see,
So we
this is the end of chapter 27, end of chapter 28, when it talks about your dreaming of the dream. It says, you have got yourself on a layer deep.
Oh, gosh.
So you think it, you do it.
And then you define yourself by what you see.
Then you're allowing, which you already made,
Kind of boomerang comes back.
the boomerang, correct? And you think it's separate from you, so you think, wow, I'm a victim now. Because what she said defines me. And what you're forgetting is that you made her.
Oh, my God.
Lesson number 2, anybody? Lesson number 2.
I give everything
Come on,
I
you
see
know
all the
this.
meaning it has.
I give everything I see all the meaning it has for me.
I've only done it once.
Oh, all right. So, see, this is really important. This is A Course in Miracles metaphysics. The very essence of how this dream works so well is because
So we get hurt by what other people think or say about us because we think that's the fun.
we've decided how important they are to us, didn't we? If a complete stranger comes up and makes some horrible comment about you, you think, you talking to me?
no problem. Nobody
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. But your loved one makes a horrible comment about you. You're not looking behind yourself, are you? No, there's a difference there, and it's all what you think.
We forget if what we think is nothing, then what they're thinking is nothing.
Well, there's that
So
too.
when they say something to us, it's really nothing too, because it applies to them.
There's that too. Jill.
A long time ago, there was a movie called Mask with Cher.
Oh, I
Remember
saw
that?
Oh yeah, like
And do you remember how at the middle end he falls in love with that blind girl, and she falls in love with him because she can't see him, and she loves him for him. And that's like that, you know. It's not about the physical. She loves him for his essence. She can't see.
he saw his true son. That's really nice.
Nothing you seek to strengthen in the special relationship is really part of you. Sentence 2. And you cannot keep part of the thought system that taught you it was real and understand the capital T thought that knows what you are. Let me read that again.
Read that again.
This is a lot of information, one little sentence. You cannot keep part of the thought system, all lowercase, that's the ego, right? That taught you that the special relationship was real. You can't keep the thought system that taught you the special relationship is real and understand the thought system that knows what you are. In other words,
You can't see the truth if you believe that.
right, you can't hold on to the basis of illusions and know the truth. Or you can't idolize the ego and understand the Holy Spirit.
And
And even listen to the Holy Spirit.
non-duality.
That's what an awakening is. That's what an awakening is that wakeness replaces sleeping. Sleeping is of dreams, it works with dreams, it's very happy, eyes closed, checked out, and dreaming of something else. When the light comes and your eyes are open and you're standing up and walking around, it's incompatible with sleep. And that's what we're talking, that's what we call it an awakening. That's why it's a spiritual awakening. It's incompatible with asleep and dreaming and the ego.
Isn't there though an element of compassion
Yeah.
when you wake up? You know, because, I mean, it's all really a part of you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're awake, I mean, wouldn't there be that element?
Absolutely. You make a really good point.
Versus the, me versus that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, you make a very good point. It's a very important point.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the dream, if you're having, say, a nightmare, or you're dreaming about something bad or uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
when you awaken, it's very important and obvious and automatic to recognize that what you're dreaming was not real. Mm-hmm. You saw the nothing as nothing, and you stop. You drive the sweat off your face. Oh God, that was a dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Good thing. This is the compassion. It's the same thing as compassion, because now you have an understanding from right-mindedness or right perspective. That's what compassion can afford. Compassion is right-mindedness, looking at perhaps wrong-mindedness, looking at conflict. Compassion is from a better place. An understanding place does not need to attack, but understands. Compassion understands a call for love might look like, hey, you son of a beep. Compassion hears that as, I don't feel loved or comfortable, and I'm panicking right now. Compassion hears that instead. Same with the dream. When you wake up, as ugly as it can be, you see right through it. The dream was made up. It lasts no longer than I can remember it. It's a very good point.
And so when we're awake, we make up the dream.
When we're awake, we understand the dream.
We see it from truth,
We see it as nothing.
from right mind. So we see the anger as a call for love, and then we react with empathy and compassion instead of, defending that.
Yeah, we can understand it. We can see through it.
So would that be considered the true dream? The one that's real?
Yeah, you have a what we call right-mindedness,
Okay.
looking at wrong-mindedness. Mm-hmm. Right-mindedness sees inclusiveness or one. It sees invulnerability. Where there is a threat of vulnerability. So in other words, you see the call for love. When you hear somebody yell your name with a few four-letter words surrounding it. Yeah. Wrong-mindedness fights back. Right-mindedness takes a breath, goes in the closet if necessary, and comes out with a miracle and forgiveness in mind, and is relaxed and patient and tolerant, and says, tell me more. Let's make this better. Because obviously we have a misunderstanding. One-mindedness is done with the whole lot. It's beyond our curriculum.
Wow.
But one-mindedness doesn't even have the conflict to resolve. Mm-hmm. One-mindedness does not forgive. Why not?
There's no need for forgiveness because they're already in truth. They're seeing the truth.
Okay, Wendy, you can go home early tonight. Good. Okay, good. Okay, so now, you have allowed the thought, capital T, you have allowed the thought of your reality to enter your mind. Congratulations. Everybody would deserve a pat on the back at this point. You have allowed the thought, capital T, of your reality to enter your mind.
That's big. That's a willingness.
If you're page 346 in A Course in Miracles, yeah, you did that. If you're this far in the book and you've struggled this far with all these double negatives and threats to your personality and identity, and your love relationship, if you've made it this far, you have allowed the thought of your true identity to sneak into your mind, even if only for a moment. Congratulations. Okay? And because you invited it, it will abide with you. Now this is like a condition. If you look at this from a logical sentence structure, you could say, if you didn't invite it, it would not abide with you. If you don't invite peace, in this case we're talking right-mindedness, and if you did not invite it, you would not have it. It's another way of saying, It will not come get you. Peace will not come take you in the middle of an argument. In the middle of your unhappiness, you're inviting unhappiness, and that's why it's abiding with you. But if you take a moment to breathe, you say, show me, in the Holy Spirit, show me another way to look at this. That's inviting your right mind.
Yeah.
And now, if you stay quiet, you'll find yourself saying things that you did not believe come out of your mouth. And it will abide with you because you invited it. You are your teacher in your right mind.
And you can't have anything that you don't give yourself.
Right?
You can't get peace.
Yep.
Unless I can't get anything I'm not willing to give.
Yeah. You will not be saved. It's one of the reasons that Course in Miracles is not taught in the Catholic Church.
You really have to do it yourself.
Where, you're going to be saved.
Somebody has to come get you.
Yeah. Course says, no, you're loved way more than that. You're not limited in any way, including having yourself completely distracted from God for as long as you wish. Which explains what we're doing here, doesn't it? People say, Andrew, if God was really love and really on his ball, how could he let me get this far from peace? How could he let me go so far from happiness if God was truly loving?
He gave you freedom of thought, freedom to do what you want to do.
You're more powerful than you thought.
Sure.
And he's invested in you the ability for you to make your own freedom. And this is part of what it looks like.
But we're just prodigal daughters and sons of what we're doing.
Meaning you
we're
will...
back to the realness of...
Yep. Meaning you absolutely will come home.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what you are. Now, the Course says that. It says, you can have many dreams and illusions and deny all sorts of things, but you cannot change what you are.
See, we already are.
What are you?
We already are.
Spirit and teach only love because
That's what you want.
That's what you are.
you are actually love.
So you already are home. We just are taking all these sidetracks.
You were invented by love. You were created by love. You are an extension of love. And you reflect love. Even when you're afraid. Even when you're panicking. You're actually reflecting love. Love is bouncing through the shadows, and it surfaces as fear. But as we know, fear is a call for love. Fear is a call for love, so even fear is love. You're only fearful because you're not feeling love. Love is everywhere. Now you can deny it and have fear and have attack and anger, sure you can, and feel terrible if you like. But the moment you see the source of even your ugliest thought is actually love, you find out you're a lot closer than you thought to your own healing. It's a lot closer. So yes, that's right. Okay, now, get this wonderful next sentence. Your love for, this should be capitalized, the true thought, will not allow you to betray yourself, and you could not enter into a relationship where the true thought could not go with you, for you would not want to be apart from it. All those its should be capitalized. Being these true thoughts.
True thoughts. No. So you're just not recognizing it.
Well,
You're saying anger or fear, you're not recognizing
well, no, the point here is that when you've invited that thought of love, the true thought, of actually willing to be tolerant, kind, patient, sharing, honest, when you start getting high on that drug, instead of attack, unfairness, jealousy, smallness, when you switch over to these true thoughts, the empowering effect of choosing patience instead of edginess, that empowering effect takes you over. It becomes your personality because it makes you happy.
Yeah, that's
What better reason
something you want to go for.
to start a new drug than it makes you happy and there's no side effects? That's what we're doing here. Peace is like a drug.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. So when you pick this up, you begin to carry it because you like it. And the things that you don't like, you put down. It delivers. That's right.
And it's not the elusive delivery where I'm happy when I'm not angry, but then he gets angry and then I'm depressed. Because I can't ever control that. I'm always going to be either happy and then unhappy, happy and unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like, it stays.
Yep. That's why we're studying A Course in Miracles.
It's not elusive.
How should I be thinking so that I can have a modicum of consistency of happiness in my life? The ego can give you some happiness, but up and then down. Slam you down. Back up, slam you back down. Then you think, well, the happiness that I was feeling last month was really not so true.
And it depends on something outside of me.
It was an illusion. Yeah.
And how that person's going to be to me, whether I'm going to be happy or not.
Yeah.
So you have no control over that. It just...
The reason we're here is to reconcile what God, or love, or happiness with a capital H,
So letting go.
can be.
Letting go all that.
Yeah, you're let go of the illusion.
And it's also the awareness that you're making the choice,
Mm-hmm.
to be happy.
Yes. Yes.
Your love for truth.
Yeah.
It's our
Well,
natural state.
my husband came in and he was complaining about this and that, and it was like, well, there's always something to complain about.
Yeah.
And there's always something to rejoice about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very wise phrase.
And I was like, oh yeah.
Everybody get your email. Everybody's email on here. This is a very wise phrase when you recognize there's always something to complain about.
Always.
Because it's true.
But that's
Here.
the choice that we are always making.
Yes, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. That's
I
it.
learned that the other week too. What she just said. About how you see it.
It's how you see it. It's self-fulfilling prophecy. It's choices you make.
How we
Things
react
making
to,
us
how
happy.
we react to it when somebody's that way.
No. Well, it's what we choose to.
Yeah. The Course says you're so powerful.
Versus what we react to, because
Yes.
if we're reacting, then we're going to go up and down.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
It's
If-
a choice to
if
react
you're-
to it or not.
Exactly.
If you want trouble, you'll find trouble. If you want a reason to feel insecure, just listen to your loved one close enough, waiting for something insecure to come out. To say how they'll comment about somebody else that they liked or wish would call. And you think, well, you don't want me to call? If you're looking for it, you'll find it. Because of how powerful your mind is and that you are giving everything all its meaning all the time. Yeah, that's the good news and the bad news. It's good when you put it to your favor, and it's bad when you start hurting yourself with it. It's the power of your mind. You'll get what you choose.
Barriers.
Huh?
It's part of the barriers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. You will make your own prison with your thoughts. For sure.
I didn't get that.
Oh.
You need a pen, I'm afraid. We need to,
Oh, here.
some of us are not carry.
It's raining pens. Oh, she has to. Okay. Claudia, would you read for us paragraph 10?
Sure. Be glad you have escaped the mockery of salvation the ego offered you, and look not back with longing on the travesty it made of your relationships. Now no one needs suffer, for you have come too far to yield to the illusion of the beauty and holiness of guilt. Only the wholly insane could look on death and suffering, sickness and despair, and see it thus. What guilt has wrought its ugly, fearful, and very dangerous? See no illusion of truth and beauty there, and be you thankful that there is a place where truth and beauty wait for you. Go on to meet them gladly and learn how much awaits you for the simple willingness to give up nothing because it is nothing.
Well, there it is. Go on to meet them gladly into truth and beauty, and learn how much awaits you for the simple willingness to give up nothing. Now here's the rationale of why you would give it up. Because it's nothing.
Well, it's so simple.
It's too simple, isn't it?
Too simple.
Anybody feeling that?
How could you want to be right about nothing?
If it's that simple, what's the problem? Why don't we all just do it?
Because we don't believe it.
That's right.
And we don't believe it's nothing.
We don't believe it's nothing.
Deranged. We
Yep.
believe it's personal, otherwise we wouldn't fight for it.
Yep. We're absolutely fixed and focused
We think that we can get hurt.
on false promise.
Ego choicing.
Yeah.
Ego's not the whole
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a false promise
Oh, we have to get
that we are listening to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what we're doing here with the Course in Miracles is we're opening it up and we're catching this, self-lie? What do you call that? Fantasy. Illusion. We're catching the illusion at its source. See, until you do Course in Miracles, the source is out there. What we're trying to do here is allow our minds to catch. All it takes is one good one that you really thought was somebody else's problem, and you find it's yours. You let it go, and it's gone. You let go of a grievance that you've been having for a long time about her, and suddenly she's okay, and so are you. That happens. That happens again and again. You do that once for real, and you'll think, okay, I got to undo the rest of them now. Now I'm busted. See? You've got to bust yourself.
From truth anymore.
That's correct. That's the because. Because you no longer want to live a lie. You no longer want to live a lie.
You know how peaceful and how free you felt. And
Right.
you just want more and more of that.
And there was never any hope of the world getting better around you. There's never any hope of the world coming to save you. You recognize that now. But there is hope for you to change your mind about the world. You could start right now and have the benefits today, involving the worst problems in your life today. That's why I'm here.
So the quest.
Mm-hmm.
The quest.
Yes, this has to be honest. The quest has to be honest, Mario. And it really, I mean, for many of us, the quest has to begin with nothing more than desperation.
Suffering.
Desperation. And perhaps the best desperation is an honest desperation, which I think we call hitting bottom.
Hello.
Very honest desperation. I don't have anything else to try.
And it immediately gets better when
Immediately.
you do one thing.
Good, Wendy.
When you know it's about what the person is reacting that way, their anger, whatever, it's about them and it's not personal.
Right.
It immediately gets better because I just did one thing and it turned it around. I started to really believe it's about them, not about me, no matter what they said about me. I knew it was about them, and I stopped defending and explaining myself. Just by doing those two things, it turned everything around. I feel
And to
empowered,
complete the
peace.
thought, you start out with the first pass is, oh, they're talking about themselves. They're not talking about me, even though they use my name. And then you just continue your Course in Miracles work, you find out that it's me using their words against me.
Yes.
Reason
I say
I?
again, it's me.
It's-
Yeah, I thought about that too when I told you about
It's
it.
me
Yeah.
using their words against me.
Right. See, the first thing you have to do when you're really in pain is to say, oh, it's all their problem. They're espousing their pain and they're using my name, and I don't have to take it so personally. That's a lower level, but it's great because it can save your yes,
But
right,
believing
and it can save your
absolutely
relationship,
believing.
right? That's enough. That's already enough to keep you from divorce, but not happiness. It won't bring you happiness because they're still really ugly, aren't they? It's just an ugly place to be still. Now maybe you're not panicking so much, but it's
Right.
still because you made it their problem, okay? But they're still a problem, and it's really ugly,
Right.
and you're still unhappy.
Right.
Now let's go to the next level. Let's continue the healing now. Now we understand. With our Course in Miracles, the lessons will do this for you. If you do them, they'll do you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So tell me the next thing you do.
The next thing you do is you understand
First, you don't
that
buy it.
you are using their words against yourself, to hurt you. So you brought this up many months ago.
You remember?
I think it's lesson maybe 24. You just read it or something that day. And it says, I can be free of the world by giving up attack thoughts.
That's my lesson tomorrow.
Is it? Yeah. Whoa. Well, those attack thoughts are all the attack thoughts. And it turns out a lot of the thoughts you have are attacking yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking about that, I was just, some lady was just, my ex-boyfriend's girlfriend was just saying the stuff that she usually says to me, And this time I found myself actually laughing. Actually laughing. I didn't react the way I used to anymore. So
That's a shift.
That's huge for me, I think.
That's a shift. Yep. I think it's probably lesson 23.
So the next step is realizing that we're hurting ourselves by what we think it means, what they're saying.
Yeah, we're coaching ourselves right into pain. Right into misery, right into victimhood.
So you're saying we're using their words to hurt ourselves?
That's absolutely right.
We're using their words.
We're using their words to hurt ourselves. Now, why? How does that work? Andrew, who would hurt themselves? Who would do that? Somebody should be arguing right now. No, I don't
Because
ever.
of what we think it means that they said?
Yeah.
What that means?
Yeah.
We're giving it the meaning and the suffering meaning?
Yeah. And because we think that guilt is being served, and somebody's going to have to sit with it. There's ugliness is being spoken.
And somebody did it.
Somebody did it. And it's being called out that it's me. And I can't survive this. I shouldn't have to put up with this. I didn't do it. At least I didn't mean to.
And it's true.
Maybe I said that, or maybe I did that, but I didn't mean it the way they're making me.
Right.
All this defense is only there because you think you can be harmed by this.
Or you believe that what they said, some part of what they said is true.
Yes, that's right. You think the guilt actually has some truth to it?
I'm not perfect.
This just kind of brought up this.
So how do you stop?
No, that letter that was written in Ephesians, Apostle Paul, Ephesians. Put on the armor of God and everything.
But Andrew, so to go from, okay, that person's angry, and this is their anger from whatever their past wounds are, to go to not seeing them as, oh my God, I can't believe I did something that could be this angry and this cruel and this hard on me. To go to shift, okay, it's not true, and now the shift is you have to look at them as, boy, they must really be hurting, they're coming from their past hurts, their past wounds, that's why they're projecting all this guilt on me, and then I go to giving them up to the attack, and that's how I stop.
So how can you tell if it's bipolar or hormonal?
It's all the ego, Mario.
Doesn't matter.
And so whether it's complete insanity, or it's hormonal for a day or two, or a week, or it's bipolar, it's still ego, it's a manifestation of the ego, and whatever appears to happen in that body, what has to happen in your body, what has to happen between your ears, what has to happen in your mind.
Yeah, because I said this to somebody. I go, you own what you have. And I refuse to take it.
Yeah. Now, Course in Miracles goes one step further, and it's the only way you're going to find peace. You can project it out there, and you can say this is their problem. You can say that, and if it helps you, it's a good start. But you will not be happy, and Course in Miracles says you'll be training yourself on how sick you can be when you comment on how sick your brother is. And it's just a matter of time before your sickness is found out. Because you got some private thoughts you're not proud of. And you're not about to share them anytime soon. But you got them. Well, Course is saying those get all included with every other sickness. And it says you truly are invulnerable. You have to discover it by going still. This is why there's so much meditation in the workbook. Minutes of just chill. And think of this thought. I am not a body. Or I am spirit. Well, how can you be spirit and have all these problems with your car?
That sounds so ridiculous.
Right?
So ridiculous.
But it's so real.
So now what the Course is teasing you to do in these exercises is to use this crazy idea of separation you invented for a good purpose. I am not my car. I don't even need my car. My true self. It sounds crazy, all right, but it has to sound crazy to the ego. Yeah. We're making a nonlinear move with this when we have a spiritual journey. It's away from the material. It just takes one moment of breathing a sigh of relief and touching your true identity as spirit. And you can never come back. It's an awakening that sticks. You can never come back. You can deny it, but you can't change it. You touched it. You don't have the words, and you'll try to tell your friends how good it was, and they'll say, oh, I'm glad for you. That's what they'll say. They can't touch it. As long as you can say it and your eyes wide open and say, well, what are you smoking? Don't worry about it. You can't come back. You have had a spiritual awakening. It's like standing a stair higher. And now you know what it feels like, and you know which way to go. And you just keep walking on that path.
Wow.
The whole world changes around you. That's what we're doing here. That's why we do this. Yeah.
Not going inside.
Yeah. So that was lesson 23. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. Great lesson.
Now, some of what we've been talking about is not a level that's involving me. I have a much lower level of things that bother me in terms of thoughts. And it is, there are no neutral thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, for me, okay, that is a hell of a big burden. The way I get out of it is, okay, I do forgiveness, or even more than that, I stop thinking. Because may sound a little better this way or that way, but you know, it's so corrupt.
Yeah.
Our thought processes. And I cannot, as a son of God, what am I doing with all of this stuff that I am flashing about, lashing at? I mean, it's just driving down to the coffee shop. Okay? Now, I used to drive down to the coffee shop, and I wasn't really aware of the hell I am creating for myself. All right? Because there's nobody else thinking this crap. Nobody in the world would ever want to think this crap, right? Because the majority of it is judgmental. Mm-hmm. And the ego is standing right there, you know, with a whole trip and just saying, you know, oh boy, that was a good one. Yeah. You better forgive that.
So the thoughts you're talking about have been informed by the ego, which lives on separation, duality, which leads to loss, which leads to guilt, which leads to fear. And that's the cycle of thoughts that informs the suffering ego mind.
Yeah. And when you feel it with caffeine, it gets
double. Speed them up.
Speed them up.
Yeah. Now, as your mind heals, as you start to heal your mind, and you see that you can escape from the world you see by giving up attack thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you start catching the attack thoughts, and you say, you know, I don't want it. I don't want what these thoughts give me. It's starting to make me sick.
Yeah.
I didn't want to take that next drink because I'm getting sick thinking about it. It doesn't charm me anymore.
The thrill is gone.
The thrill is gone. Trying to be right all the time. That's another subtle one, you know, that we do, the ego does. that tries to be so smart and right all the time, those are little attacks, making somebody else wrong.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how you should. This is what you should be thinking, Lisa. I'm gonna,
Tell them what they're saying isn't true.
yes.
Thank you. I'll take it as an advisement.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the little attacks along the way. Pretty soon you start recognizing it doesn't make somebody else happy when you say that they're wrong. But they need to know. I can help them. But you just
It's not helping. It's crazy.
kill their spirit. You kill their spirit. Now when they ask you, what do you think about this? It's different.
As long as they're buying what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Even if they're not, they know you don't support them.
It's not our business.
That
to have to
hurts too.
Tell people that they're wrong. It's not our business.
They know they're right, but they think you think they're wrong. That hurts. Don't you ever?
I
But
can
you-
always learn from someone who tries to kill my spirit, whether intentionally or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I tend to analyze things like crazy. So, but I always learn from people who push my buttons. Why? How do they do? I mean, not how, but why am I bothered by that?
Mm. Yeah, nice. That's nice, Mike. If you have an open mind, then certainly you can. This is communication now. This is a invitation for communication. If you have a closed mind, it's just an insult, an attack, and you better start defending yourself. But if you're open, what can I learn? And there's nothing to lose, especially if you have nothing to lose.
You learn more. Because
You learn more.
I use that tactic for myself, like,
Yeah.
because I got a new job, and the thing is, like, dealing with 14 different personalities all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
The new kid on the block.
You should be listening.
I'm just like, I'm making it all one. I'm treating everyone like the same one.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is that what was I trying to say?
You make it different by making it all the same.
Yeah.
And let them teach you instead of you teach them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it's just like,
As I say.
Yeah, I'm glad I see other people do that.
yeah.
I do it.
Lisa, you ready to read? Paragraph 11.
We turned on the lights just for me, didn't you?
I did.
The new perspective you will gain from crossing over will be the understanding of where heaven is. From this side, it seems to be outside and across the bridge. Yet as you cross to join it, it will join with you and become one with you, and you will think, in glad astonishment, that for all this you gave up nothing. The joy of heaven, which has no limit, is increased with each light that returns to take its rightful place within it. Wait no longer for the love of God and you. And may the holy instant speed you on the way, as it will surely do if you but let it come to you.
Oh, it's a beautiful good news. Isn't that some good news? Yeah, that should be filling your heart with spirit there. Okay, so now let's talk about this a little bit, because this is called the bridge. The bridge to the real world goes from the false world to the real world. That's what it says on the false. You're going across the bridge. When we did the meditation on the bridge a couple weeks ago, and everybody's kind of said, well, some people said, I'm approaching it, and it goes across this chasm to the other side. And we talked about it a little more, and you kind of want to cross the bridge. And if the bridge were labeled, it would be labeled of where it's going. This is the bridge that goes. When you enter this tunnel or this bridge, you'll come out, in this case, in the real world. So get this. He says, the new perspective you will gain from crossing over this bridge, this is correcting your mind, going from wrong thinking to right thinking. From crossing over will be the understanding of, get this, where heaven is.
This is that bridge where as soon as you put your foot on it, the chasm isn't there anymore.
Yeah. Yes.
The bridge is nowhere.
Yes. The journey without distance. It was only your willingness to cross it.
Here and now.
That completed it. Just your willing to step on it completed the whole entire journey. Yes, Lisa, that's right. Yeah.
I found that one by looking at it, all the real estate you could have.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. Yes. Not enough to substitute.
Is that bridge just changing your mind?
It's changing your mind.
That's all it is.
It's awakening. It's an awakening your mind to what's already there.
So what builds it?
What builds it is essentially removing the blocks that are blocking it. It's already built. What you are, you are. Huh?
The barriers.
The barriers, that's correct.
Identifying the barriers.
Yes. Yes. And the barriers are all these thoughts that you have that make your fists go tight. The things that make your teeth clench. All the ugly thoughts of impatience and judgment. Things like that. Unfairness. Things like that.
Thinking that if you defend yourself, it'll protect you.
Defenses of all types.
Thinking that'll make you safe.
Yeah. So how do you get rid of all those thoughts? Anybody? What?
Stop thinking.
Have a beer? Is that what you said?
Drink another beer.
Just get quiet.
No, that's true. That's a hint. That's a hint.
Get quiet.
You could
Nothing else.
Quiet.
Get.
If I get quiet, then I'm already there. I mean, I'm in a bad area if I'm quiet. That's my indicator.
What do you mean you're in a bad area for quiet?
Payful.
Well, usually I'm talkative and cheerful and good-natured, but if I'm quiet, there's a problem.
Yeah, that's the silent treatment. Blowing a fuse.
Yeah.
If I'm not talking, you're in serious trouble.
I
Well,
tried your ego thing last Friday after the class.
Yeah.
I was doing good in the morning
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a mechanic and I work around a lot of guys. And I know these two guys were just joking. They were just running their mouth about something.
Yeah.
And I just overreacted like that. I mean, I was, 180.
Yeah.
I was, a little bit of foul language and
Yeah.
told them what they could do or not do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought after 10 seconds after I said it, it's like, I didn't learn a damn thing. That's what I thought.
That's great. You
Yeah.
Hey, you caught yourself.
Well,
Stand
yeah,
it
but
back.
after,
Right.
it's like,
After
I
you
felt
felt
bad.
awful, you did.
I felt bad.
Yeah.
That's the guilt.
learned anything,
Right.
you would have just kept going with it.
It always follows the guilt.
That's how it begins. That's how it begins is we
It's like, do I want to betray myself one more time?
But if you catch yourself and you go back to correct it,
yes.
so then when you finding that, say, did you go back and correct it, or you just kind of let it go?
But you don't do it in space. You don't do it with those people. When you go back to correct it, you do it in your head.
Okay.
Because those people won't understand. He'll come back and say, "Hey guys, I'm gonna give you all a hug, okay?" It's not gonna work. It's absolutely backfire. However, what he can say is, "I'd rather not be angry. I didn't feel good to me. These guys aren't talking to me now for 2 hours. I yelled actually more than I really needed to.
But they're going to be looking at him cross-eyed all day.
They will. That's absolutely
they
right.
were kind of joking. Like I was already in a bad mood,
Yep.
and then they just kind of ran their mouth, and
Yep.
then it's like it just pushed it.
It pushed it, right. And now, you can't actually hide. The jokes, us guys, when we joke with each other sometimes with a sharp knife. We just push a button, just so. Yeah, you broke off another bolt. We all do it. It's your third one this week.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is jab him with a sharp knife. And you know what you did. You know what it was an attack, and he knows. He's taking it in. Damn, I broke another bolt. He's not happy about it. He has to fix it. Maybe on his own time if you're the boss. You're paying for that bolt, Johnson.
Depends who your boss is.
You stay here until it's done. He knows. These little attacks. But you feel like crap. And you can't hide the attack. This is why lesson 23 is so important. These little attacks that we make. It feels good to us because we're kind of getting it off our system, right? Getting it off our chest. I'll yell a little bit at this person. I feel a little better. They kind of had it coming. The problem is that they're watching your face while you're yelling at them. You're sending off some pretty sharp knives. You're sending off probes with your eyes.
Yes.
And this is not a joke looks like eyes are open, the shoulders are down.
Exactly.
Not like this. They're feeling it. They're taking it in deep, and
The
so are
facial
you.
expressions, that's communicating a lot.
What you're sending out is coming right back. You're eating the same poison you're giving out.
Whose face?
It's very, yeah. So, so no, we're talking about how to heal that, how to fix that. It starts just the way that you did. You do it because it will come faster than you can possibly stop it.
We get it first because it's our anger.
You're going to feel it because you're going to get it first. You're going to feel it. And then, in your own space, in your own time,
We think we project it out.
you decide this is not what you want. It's afterward, right? You decide, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. That's all. That's enough. That's like lesson 1. Good. You're done. You're done. Because your mind's already starting to shift. As you go further along, maybe you're carrying it with you a little bit. You're not proud of yourself. The you from last month wouldn't carry it. He's like, I did it right. I should have yelled twice as loud. He would have broken another bolt this week.
Yes.
And that old ego self would have been, feeding on its attack. But the new you get a lot more peace in your life, and other people won't mind working harder for you and hanging around you. When you don't cut their nose off, you're actually working with them.
Right.
You're understanding. Bolts break. I know you wanted to get the job done quickly, and just went a little too fast, you snapped that bolt. You got to slow down on these old vehicles; they rust. You know that, Johnson. Here's some WD-40. Think about that. Okay? What you do is you go back in your mind, in your private thoughts, and you rehearse how you might have done it differently. And next time...
It wasn't 10 seconds after I, overreacted. It was like...
Yeah.
I just kind of like turned away and like, man, when you go to church and come out and you're supposed to forgive and be nice to people and you're bad-mouthing your neighbor or at work or whatever, it's like, man, am I not learning anything here? I was listening. I like what I hear, but I'm not putting it down. I'm not using it.
Yeah.
But he is learning because he's talking about
But
it.
you were aware
Absolutely.
that you did it.
You're talking about it.
I don't
That's
think
huge.
it's other people I hurt in the meantime.
Yep, there's going to be that.
Yeah.
There's going to be some carnage along the way. Jill?
But you did catch yourself afterwards, and you were.
Oh, right after.
Yeah,
I was like,
That's 90% of getting there.
Those guys are serving as your teachers now.
Yeah.
There's even as you put your
Right.
finger in their face, and they're serving.
Because you could always go back and hug them later, right?
They're giving you the lesson that you needed.
that's the boss. No.
This isn't a butcher shop. This is a garage.
Oh, no, I got even with all those guys.
Are you the boss?
No, it's a dealership, a Lexus dealership.
Oh, so you can get away with that and not be the boss.
But isn't
Well,
there a place for the ego, though? I mean, when you're growing up, a teenager, or,
They're giving you all
adolescent.
your lessons that you
Because,
need.
I mean, we all
Say
think
thank you
about
to them.
all that really great stuff we did. And that it was all our ego,
I was miserable
No,
as a teenager.
Me
I
too.
mean, you said a
I was
fight. I
too.
remember a fight
I was
I had. I had my one and only fight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like one of the best memories I have. It's my ego just loves.
Yeah.
And when I talk about it, and I tell my students about it, it's like the fight.
fight.
This is what happened. This is how we fought, and it was like,
Oh, physical.
I'm like, I'm gloating on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about it. I was probably 12 years old or something. Somebody dared me, and so we had a little fight. But it was, now I look back on it, and it's like one of the best memories. Tina Rice.
You know what? There's no problem. You can enjoy this world, Cecilia.
Yeah.
You could go.
So,
You could go. Absolutely. There should be no guilt around that at all. Okay. You're always dealing with your frame of mind now, and even if you were to go too far as commit some crimes, because I like fighting so much. When I was 12, I'm going to start doing it now. And you go down Pacific Avenue, start stealing cell phones and punching people out. And if you love it, can you imagine her doing that?
I'm talking about a time, like when you're an adolescent or a young child, or where you're becoming your person.
Yep.
Or how about getting out of something ugly?
Oh, you mean when the ego's undeniable?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know.
What are you trying to say?
I think, for example, in India, they say there's a time for
Yeah.
everything.
Okay.
There's a time, there's the 3 stages of life.
Yes.
And the third stage of life, as you get older, that's when you go into your spiritual stage.
Yes.
And that's where things are set up so that you can,
Yes.
kind of retire into that
Yes,
spiritual frame
that's
of
right.
mind. Whereas the first and the second stage, it's the ego development.
Are you saying that you would not condemn a 12-year-old?
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Because for you it was so natural and felt
I'm just
fulfilling.
But if you look at children, there's so much of who they are has to do with ego building. And how do we teach our children to become...
The first words out of a kid's mouth is mine. Mine. First words out of your child's mouth.
How different
Everything is
adolescence would
They're-
be if you understood that everything you were seeing was your doing.
Yeah.
That would be an incredibly different experience than, say, high schoolers, where everything is blame and,
It's otherdom.
Yeah. And you are so ruled by, as a kid, what everybody else thinks about you. I mean, think about having this perspective at that age. It would be amazing.
Be amazing, free, and completely unnatural. Be a very strange kid.
There are kids out there like that.
Huh?
I've met a few kids like that. My son was really very... He walked differently than most people did. He didn't live, he died when he was 22, but he touched so many people's lives. He was one of the kids, the mothers, I found out later, that as long as he was at a party their daughters were going to, they would let them go because they knew he would be there and he would care for them. And that was huge. I mean, and he was so young, and he was, I found a pipe on our dresser one time, and I said, "What is this? You don't do this." And he says, "No, it's not mine. I took it away from so-and-so last night because they were acting out and doing crazy things." And it was like, I felt bad that I even doubted him. It's like, wow, it was like he was wise beyond his years, sometimes wiser than me. Because he would always say, "You worry too much. Why are you so worried?" Everything's going to be okay. And I do hear his voice sometimes when I get into those places, like,
Wow.
yeah, it was just good for me.
And then the other side of the coin, we keep people who didn't get kids like that,
Right.
who actually had that
There
pipe
were
and
kids
16
that weren't
others.
like that.
They left pipes out for you to confiscate. Those are the ones they were done with. The other pipes they want to keep. Then there's those kids, right?
My daughters.
Yeah. And that, so we can reconcile all that as you cross over this bridge that we're reading about in this paragraph. How do you reconcile these tough kids and these good kids, or the good relationships and the bad relationships? The place for the ego when it was developing and giving you good memories that actually charm your life a little bit. Charm your life. Fun. See, as you get to the real world, what the real world is to A Course in Miracles is a right thinking or correct perspective about this world. About this world. About this world. From right vision. And now it's all laughable. It's that little girl fight. It's like watching a great movie.
Exactly, yeah.
That's all. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was play. And you, as a child of God, are very busy playing to be separate from God. You're playing to be in a body.
I learned about that ego because I created a different person in me when I was going through my divorce, custody battles, and all this. And I was in another place. And I created this person. He wasn't a bad person, but he just came out. You can't do this to me. I don't deserve it. You know what I mean? Where did I go wrong? And the system, it's not from this world. They created it for the person that's going to get what they want if they have a good lawyer.
Yeah, Mario, if it's just like in Hollywood, they'll go down there and they'll make things called horror movies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I created this night.
Don't they? On purpose?
I created this night.
Yeah.
A lot of armor.
You got a story to tell.
Yeah.
You got a defense to put up.
Oh.
You're going to be strong.
If we're going to suffer, we're all going to suffer.
Yeah.
Your Honor.
Yeah, that's right. If I can't have it, nobody can.
That's right.
I'll destroy it on the way out. Yep. This is the play. It's the whole variety of the world of illusions. When, as you wake up, you can start to have everything translated for you. That's the Holy Spirit's job. Did you know that? The Course describes the Holy Spirit's job as a translator.
Yeah.
He translates what your eyes see, what your ego mind thinks, to right perception. It's play. All of it is nothing.
Yeah.
And did no harm whatsoever. The horror movie in Hollywood, it shows people being hung up by their toenails with vice grips. Oh, God. It's disgusting. But it's nothing.
Yeah, now I'm so
It's nothing.
I'm so naked. I'm so naked now.
Uh-huh.
I don't have all that.
Yeah, all the armor's off. You're holding the character. So you switched over to that romantic comedy, did you? Here's a whole other movie he's watching now.
What kind of comedy?
Romantic comedy. He's naked. Didn't he say he was naked? That's the romance part. And Mario naked would be a comedy to me, so that's romantic comedy. So you bet. You change your mind. And your character changes right along with it. You're getting a different movie out of Hollywood than the horror movie you were watching, which you're very involved with. And now you switch into something. You just change your mind and you'll get exactly that. You change your mind and how you're responding to a situation, and that's exactly what you'll have. You apply your creativity, the same creativity that made the fantasy of horror or fear. Apply that now like Olchi does when she does her Closet Miracle. How is this going to be good? And her heart starts to lift.
Yeah, that happened this year.
Yeah, did it?
After she shared about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was in so much pain when I came here about what was going on at work. And then she shared that, and that weekend it was a miracle thing happened. Someone reached out to me who was retired, who was giving me a different perspective on what was going on at work. And then I got to this place where I started laughing about it, and I was like, I told my husband, I said, I was actually laughing about it. And it's like, now I'm still working through the barrier so that I can stay there.
Yes. But you've touched it, see?
Oh, I tasted it.
You've tasted it.
Yeah.
There is no going back from that point. You can never exist in the darkness that you were before. That level of victimhood is gone forever. You can deny it out of habits. You can continue to swear and doubt and worry, but it cannot possibly go as low as it was before. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the benefit of these awakenings, of making the turn, of finding your own empowerment. That it's not as serious as you thought it was.
At that time, no.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I get in it again, I'm practicing it. That's what I'm doing. I'm practicing.
Somebody said there's no neutral thoughts. Dick?
Yeah.
You're talking there's no neutral thoughts, right?
What's that?
You were saying there's no neutral thoughts
right.
a moment ago.
Well, it says that in the text, definitely.
Because it's in the workbook.
Yeah.
And it's a lesson title, and it's because it's practical.
It really...
It's because you can't, if you're standing on a staircase...
Now you're outside looking in.
And that's we all are. Yeah. We're all on a staircase of our spiritual enlightenment. We descend away from heaven, from happiness, going down the staircase. And if you make a turn and you start lifting your legs instead of dropping your legs and pushing up, you go back up the staircase. Mm-hmm. Of course, he uses this analogy in the supplements. There's no neutral thoughts because whatever step you take, it's going to be either up or it's going to be down. And you'll know. That's true. You'll know because you're up or you're down. There's no mystery. You don't have to seek anybody else's advice. After you've had this experience, where you actually, she just stuttered in her mind. She didn't follow the cycle of sorrow. Just for a second, and laughter came out.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's empowering. It's empowering. Self-empowering, this book.
And I have to remember that.
Yes.
Remember that
moment.
Mm-hmm.
Go there in your mind and close your eyes and meditate about in that moment when you start to laugh. See yourself doing that again.
Right, and I'm doing the lessons again, and I'm starting from the beginning, and so it's a whole different level of experience than before. It's just a very different experience than before, and I can't even articulate it, but it's...
Oh, yes. These lessons are deeper. It starts with the final lesson.
This is my 4th time.
Is it?
But it's 4th time since 1982.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're a different person every time.
And I'm a different person.
The book is the same, but you've changed.
And I'm seeing the book differently,
Yes.
which is even more profound. And you know how when you're consistent in working the book and in the reading, I can see the real value of that because you can go right to it and you don't have to. And I don't know why I stopped.
Yeah.
You
don't need to know why. It's completely unimportant. The only thing you need to know is how. How you stopped, and it looked something like this.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta know. That's all you gotta know.
That's true.
That's it.
But I never let go of all of it. I still did daily meditation from it. I still, it still was with me always.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's nice is that there aren't any secrets.
Right.
It gets simple. It gets when you start to open your eyes and you start to look at what you did, and it gets so simple. Thank goodness this isn't a very complex thing to do, because you may as well go for the beer instead. That's simple. No, this is even simpler. You need to do nothing. The next time you get the angst, just do nothing. Stop the cycle. Just for 1 full second. You don't even need that, okay? It's about, what did we decide that one night? 300 times more than you actually need. A second is 300 times more than you need. Why?
Oh my God.
Because we figured out that the shortest pattern in the brain called a thought is 3 milliseconds.
Wow.
It takes 3 milliseconds for you to have a thought.
That's true.
So how many 3 milliseconds are there in a full second?
Well, you could
There's 300 of them. What?
More just for good measure.
You sure could. And you'd have a lot of extra time to do that. Yeah. But the point is, and this is true, when you really get tight with your meditations, you get down to these instants of now. You start to get a feel of what now actually is like when you have the discipline of meditation. And I'll tell you, it is spacious and it's very brief, right?
But it feels like an eternity.
Yes.
It does. I mean, I've been practicing my meditations more too, and I do them right at work. And occasionally they get interrupted, but it doesn't go away. It's like it's the suspension of what we know of time.
Yep. And it's
Expansion.
sort of like charging the batteries, and that's most people I've heard describe who do meditate, when they miss a meditation, it just starts out slow. The day's just you don't know what you're going to get. You start with a meditation, it's like grounding and charging the batteries. You've got some resistance now. There's something in the bank, some gas in the tank.
You never know where it's going to go.
Yeah. And you can put up with stuff. It's just, you're grounded. Yeah. It's a good
Are
thing.
the meditations the lessons when you say the meditation?
Oh, I do meditation and lessons. I mean, I do a whole series of things. I write, I read, I do my lessons. I actually do guided meditations.
Yeah.
Just, that's what I have to do.
There are more descriptions of meditation than we can imagine.
Yeah, there are.
Because anything you do to control your mind is a meditation.
Thumbs up.
You've had a little experience with that.
Okay.
Now this is important, because a prayer is a meditation. A meditation is a prayer. Anything you do to control your mind is a meditation. And you'll get what you put in.
You get a break from thinking.
You love my office. I have all these things stuck out. gentle indifference, quiet, listen.
Yeah.
All these things,
Yes.
Post-its all over my
Yes.
office, so that when the stuff comes in the door, I just look at it and go, oh, okay.
Great.
Yes.
I need that now, because that's just how volatile it feels, and I feel totally out of control.
Yes. So now the out of control mind is where the chaos is. And then as we start to train our mind, train like, you're the lion with a chair and the whip.
Yep.
Lion sits down. They're not going to bite your foot now. Same with your ego. What we're trying to do is train that ego. We're controlling our mind. Jill?
What is it that you do again where you set your watch and it beeps every 10 minutes to remind you to say a phrase? Or
The lesson of the day.
you read the lesson of the day in the morning and then you just repeat that all through the day?
Did you know that in the workbook,
No, there's different ways.
there's a lesson for every day of the year, and in the lesson, the last few paragraphs will describe Jesus' own contribution to how you should do it. Is it just because in the first ones he said,
Tell you what you should
the first one he says, do this once in the morning for a moment, and once again before you go to bed for a moment. If you find it uncomfortable, drop it.
He gives you very specific spoon-fed directions what to say. After, you read the lesson.
Because these things are potent. They're very threatening to your ego.
Yeah.
And then as you get up, into lesson 20 or so,
That's right.
he says, you know what? You've made it this far, and we've been really lax about how much energy and attention you put on your lessons. Today's going to change. I want a full minute.
5 times a day.
5 times today. Whoa, a minute? That's 5 minutes!
Think about all the criticism and judgment we could do.
Yeah, 5!
Oh my
But
gosh.
the benefit is unbelievable. But yeah, that's what I do my timer, and because then I'll time it. So I don't miss any. Yeah.
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 Is it
advisable to read the text before you start the lessons?
I
Or
do.
it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters, the only rule in the entire book, is you do the lessons in order, and only one a day.
I find just doing
Other than that,
lessons
you
every
can
day.
you can randomly read the text. You can read the text on page 1. Some people minds are they absolutely must start with page 1, followed by page 2, and then tomorrow is. Yeah. They have to do it in order, and that brings them peace and understanding and fulfillment. That's their kind of mind. Other people, I know a person starts from the back of books, and she kind of because I won't perspect why, but she does, and and so she read the manual for teachers first. It's fine. It's a really great place to start. Is to read the manual. It's kind of a Q&A, the manual for teachers. You start to get familiar with the terms, build up some respect for what this thing holds. And then when you go read the text, you're informed, so it doesn't matter. If you've had some spiritual training, in other words, you've gone through some Buddhist teachings, or you've had some meditation, and somewhere along your spiritual journey, the phrase "I'm responsible" has ever crossed your mind and you found it freeing, then you can start with the workbook. But if you think the problem's out there and you want something to save you, you better start with the text. Right? And you better have a beer in hand or a glass of wine if you do that, because it's going to shake up your world
First,
and prepare you for the lessons.
first I read the lesson, and then I sit still and meditate. Meditate, just sit quietly,
Yeah, let it talk to
knowing
you.
that
that's where
with that experience of what the truth I read in that lesson. I just letting it sit. So otherwise, I sit with my ego. So read the lesson. I have the experience of that truth. It shifted my mind, and I just sit still with that. And then I have truth to be still with instead of ego in and out.
That's like meditating with the sun, because I'll sit there
I can't just.
and just talk to it. You know what I mean?
That's what I do.
Well, it also serves to help you identify what your thoughts are, because some of our thoughts are just, like you said, they're nanoseconds. And how do we slow down and think, oh, this is the attack thought? Okay?
Can you meditate with the ego?
If that's what you think, if that's
Exactly.
what it
Exactly.
is. Yeah.
Can you meditate with the ego?
What?
I don't know, can you?
Well, that's how we're living our life.
Oh, she can't. You can't. What was your name?
Colette.
Colette can't meditate with the ego.
You can't meditate with the ego?
Can you meditate with the ego?
Hell yeah.
It's always been going in and out.
there.
What do you do in line at Safeway? When you're,
Green line.
remember, meditation is anytime you try to control your mind.
Right.
And I'll tell you, your attack thoughts are a meditation on attack.
Yeah.
And you start working them. And you repeat them like a mantra, don't you? Your attack thoughts, your fear thoughts. They're like over and over and over again. And you don't think of it, of course, when we say meditation. We mean spiritual. I know what you mean. But we got to expose the ego is operating all the time. And you are meditating on your worry, your jealousy, your anger, your guilt, and your fantasies.
That's what we're practicing.
Your fantasies about what could happen.
But that's unconscious.
Well, it's all
It's
conscious.
unconscious.
It all is. All, that's the domain of the ego, so those
Yes,
all is.
But when you meditate,
Yes.
that's when you are aware
Yeah.
of your mind.
Yeah.
You know, so
You could be
so you
practicing
can't.
ego.
So if you're meditating,
Yeah.
you're putting the master, basically the master
Uh-huh.
in your mind,
Aha.
right?
Yeah.
Your higher self.
Yes.
So then you're looking at the ego.
Mm-hmm.
Depends what you're thinking. You could be thinking
I mean,
with
it
the
depends
ego.
what levels of meditation it is.
That's right. That's right.
Uh-huh.
That's right. You bet. It is. There's a continuum from wrong-minded to right-minded, and at the highest, it's one-minded.
Right.
And meditation includes that entire spectrum. I just want to point out, the spiritual ego can hang you in a meditation. I'll tell you, most meditations start out pretty ugly, at least from my experience, in the early days, you know. But then, you know, as you get used
I
to
love meditating now.
yeah, once you start letting the Holy Spirit's phrases come into your mind, and you start getting some of this, some of these beautiful thoughts that we just read, the hope now guides you. Then you know which way to turn for peace. And you can start the meditation where you left off from the last one that took an hour to get there. You can start the next one from pretty much where you left off.
5 minutes.
You bet. Right away.
Yeah.
Right away. Once you kind of get settled, you can go, and it goes up and up and up. This is a transcendence. Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're so close. I think we can finish this section tonight. Yeah, but first I want to read that paragraph again just to put us back on the page. The new perspective you will gain for, let's say, meditation, just for a moment. Crossing over, right? The new perspective you will gain from your meditating on peace and controlling your mind with the Holy Spirit as a guide, rather than the ego as your guide. The new perspective you will gain from crossing over will be the understanding of where heaven is. From this side, it seems to be outside and across the bridge. Yet as you cross to join it, it will join with you and become one with you. And you will think in glad astonishment that for all this, you gave up nothing. The joy of heaven, which has no limit, is increased with each light that returns to take its rightful place within it. Now wait no longer, for the love of God and you, and may the holy instant speed you on the way, as it will surely do if you but let it come to you.
Yeah.
When do you want to read for us paragraph 12?
Yes. The Holy Spirit asks only this little help of you. Whenever your thoughts wander to a special relationship which still attracts you, enter with Him into a holy instant, and there let Him release you. He needs only your willingness to share His perspective to give it to you completely. And your willingness need not be complete because His is perfect. It is His task to atone for your unwillingness by His perfect faith, and it is His faith you share with Him there. Out of your recognition of your unwillingness for your release, His perfect willingness is given you. Call upon Him, for heaven is at His call, and let Him call on heaven for you.
Did you guys hear that?
Wow.
Did you hear that? Huge.
He'll do all the rest. All you have to do is say, I want it to be different. Holy Spirit, help me.
That's it.
all we have to do.
That's it.
And that's all we can do.
Yes.
And He will take it from there. And we don't have to say, well, how could I love Him? How could I see it different?
Mm-hmm.
He will just want us to be different.
Yep.
That's it.
Just
That is so hopeful.
bust
So hopeful.
yourself. Bust your ego.
Just say, no, I don't want to go here. I'm not going to go here.
That's right.
I want peace.
It looks like I'm unwilling to be at peace.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
And
You know what?
and the truth is, we're getting all this help,
Yeah.
all the help offering, but the truth is that we really don't know what the hell, how we're going to get across this bridge.
Right.
This whole thing.
We don't have
If
to
the
know.
ego it runs the trip,
Right.
it's going to be you're going to go back the other way.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. But it's really
That's
really
why-
marvelous that
Yeah.
we're given this opportunity.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To get this instruction,
Yes.
but there would be no other way. Of our own volition, there is no way
Yep.
to get across this bridge.
Not from that guy looking in the mirror, looking back at you.
No way.
When you look in the mirror, the one looking back, that one is not going
That's
to
what it
lead
says
you out.
tonight. You can't do it with the mind that created the problem.
Yep.
But you know what? When I wanted it to be different,
Mm-hmm.
I often wanted to be different.
Mm-hmm.
But I did the next step. I didn't react.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced this feeling of being empowered, and I experienced my wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced my wholeness, whatever that means. I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt so empowered that I had my peace,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't react. And I felt my own truth and held it, that presence. And it was easy because I saw it and I felt it. And it's just so empowering to feel your own wholeness instead of feeling a victim. It's so wonderful, but I don't want to ever be without it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very beautiful, simple.
All because I didn't react and I didn't defend because I didn't want to go there anymore. So I knew it was so much suffering to do.
Yeah. Because wholeness is also fullness. In other words, nothing can be added to you. Yeah. Now this wholeness thing is very hard to put into words, but it's a very calm, a centered, completeness, invulnerable, unharmed, especially when you've just had something that looked like an attack and you don't feel attacked. You don't feel anything was taken from you.
And I know it wasn't.
Yeah.
I know that it was
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your invulnerability.
his
Yes. Right. Yes.
perception of
Yes.
whatever,
Yes. I think it's lesson 26 or so. Something. It says, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. When you say whole, you're touching your invulnerability.
That's what I thought.
That's vulnerability-lessness, right?
You didn't have to.
Yeah, there's a sense of peace that comes from this type of correct perception. Yes, empathy, compassion. You have freed your mind. It's just a symbol. Because as we're getting to the next level, it's not any particular person you're doing with, you're doing with you.
But isn't that ultimate, though, crossing the bridge? I think we said this. Isn't that the ultimate act of grace? Where it's not really us doing it anymore.
Yeah. Remember, the bridge is like what Mario said. I think it was Mario, it was Lisa. I think it was Lisa.
It's the ultimate gift.
You go to approach the bridge and you go to step on it because you're ready to make this effort to cross the bridge.
Right.
And the moment you transfer your weight onto the bridge,
You're there.
you're there.
Everything else
You're there.
falls away as they
Because
chasm is gone.
it's a journey without distance because of what you actually are. We've been dreaming about being suffering egos in bodies for a whole life. It's not true.
We are all healed.
This is why it's a spiritual meeting and a spiritual book. We're leaving behind the material limits of identifying with a body. As the Course describes itself, it's a journey without distance. the goal that has never changed.
So we already have all this in our minds.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is
All
all
the truth,
rehearsal.
But we just don't think we have it.
It's all
So we're
graceful.
coming to class to convince ourselves
You convince ourselves to gently
that we can get there.
let go of the illusion and start to taste reality and move up the stairway and feel the enlightenment and let go of the endarkenment. It just feels better. We all want to feel better.
I like that in dark.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes. All right, let's have a little circle before we go.
We have a lot of family here.
Show 4.
Nice spiritual family. I'm
I think you're going to be able to get that back there.
Go ahead.
Take a deep breath. And let out every single argument with this world that you will ever have again. That argument comes from you, and you're the only one who's actually hearing it. Everybody else is making up their own story about what you say. The argument you're having is just with yourself. It's angry. It's loud. It's not peaceful. It's not friendly. No, turn yourself toward the bridge. The bridge that's titled Heaven. It's titled Peace. It's titled something you really want to be. And it's probably not angry. Decide you'd rather be happy than right. I'd rather be happy, so I'm just going to be happy. I don't need to be right this time. Try that. That's a bridge to the real world, because then you have to laugh at what being right would have actually brought you, and it wasn't worth it. It didn't get you anywhere. Decide for happiness instead. Thank you, thank you. Amen.
Great lesson tonight.
Thank you. Great.
Hey, we finished the section, too. Nice to see you.
So would I. Yeah.